Hello. Is everybody ready to start? Yes? Okay. So I'm Tiffany Burba, and I am actually hosting the first half tonight. Chris and Tony will be here at the half. So they have another obligation, so I said I would fill in for them. So I'm going to go through all the tips that they gave me before the start to read. So first is the happy hour board that my son Bryce is holding up. So that's Leah does that just for us, and it keeps going the whole night. So take advantage of that and make sure you tip well, and try to settle it before the end of the night so they can get out of here. So thank you, Bryce. And then as far as the restrooms, there's the one in the bar that's probably the easiest one to use. That one kind of looks blocked off, so I would just avoid that one. Yeah, no, there's a lot going on back there. Again, reminder of the art on the walls, just to be aware of that so we don't knock it down, unless you want to take it home with you tonight. And then drinks, you cannot go out from the bar in this way, just from the bar in this way. It's a law, so we don't want to get anybody in trouble. Let's see. Did everybody get signed up who wants to read tonight? We're good? Okay. And then, let's see. Okay, I think we're going to get started now. So like I said, I am Tiffany, and normally I do the video, but tonight Bryce, my son, is doing that, so I can switch gears. So Chris and Tony are trusting me to not screw this up, so just tell them I did already. So as Chris always does, he always puts a poem in the air. So this is a new book by Rudy Francisco. He's a really great poet, so I'm just going to read one of his. It's called Mercy. She asked me to kill a spider. Instead, I get the most peaceful weapon I can find. I take a cup and a napkin. I catch the spider, put it outside, and allow it to walk away. If I'm ever caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, just being alive and not bothering anyone, I hope I am greeted with the same kind of mercy. So our first reader tonight is Charles. Yeah. Welcome, Charles. It's your first time here, right? Yeah. Welcome.
So amazing. Do I have to use the microphone? Oh, okay.
Scott's our audio guy, so.
Okay.
Closer the better.
All right. So I'm new to these glasses, so I have to kind of shift here, but it's amazing to have your attention. So I appreciate your giving me your life here for a few minutes.
Got it.
So this one was inspired by my girlfriend. She teaches kids who have special needs and in kindergarten. And she would say all these things they do. And she always say, oh, but he's a good kid. And then I kept hearing that. And I said, have you ever met any of your students that aren't? She said, what? No, they're all good kids. So this is called He's a Good Kid. And it's a sonnet. Whence come these creatures? Have they traveled far? Forgetting all, even their pilgrimage, to be enwrapped in fleshy appendage and opinion, shaping all they think they are. Before a thought, beyond mere words, each child in trust must tender time without defense, offending some in wondrous innocence by speech and act before they've been beguiled. Whose adult eyes find human mystery, or mind with all its facts appreciate how inconvenient creatures mitigate mere wealth, ignored as common poverty. Some innocents survive, and they are drawn to cherish all the same before they're gone. And you know, we recently had a big moon in the sky, and so somehow this came out of that. It's called Harvest Moon. Again, a sonnet. By none obliged, save by my own consent, within this wild I've come to contemplate, I'm found before reflections of my state, whose holiness responds to what I've sent. Diverted by those furies who have flown from stillness, which is difficult to bear, fueled by desire to futilely compare, don't I disdain what surely is my own? How curious this old propensity, relentless in its rising to make clear myself, which graces all that may appear complex, though love allows simplicity. By shadows am I found when I take flight, for this is the economy of light.
Thank you, Charles. Next up is Scott. Yay, Scott.
Hello, beautiful people. My name is Scott, and I'm going to read a couple poems for you. We have a very nice, intimate group tonight. As Tiffany mentioned, I'm also your resident sound guy, which means mostly that I'm going to try to make you uncomfortable by pushing the microphone closer to your face. But since we got a nice small group, and maybe there's plenty of time, let's just do a little mic tutorial right now, mic stand tutorial. Well, first of all, if you're going to use the microphone, you got to get close to it so we can hear you. If you need to change the height of the microphone, there's something right here, and if you turn it, the mic goes up and down. And when it's reached the height that you prefer, you just clamp it back down. And that's pretty much it. You're in business. So if you need help, let me know. If you don't want help, let me know. Okay. First we have I guess it's a Thanksgiving poem, we'll call it that. I've almost forgotten that Thanksgiving just happened, but... Steadily bent, or broken treetops and thinned out branches reveal the wind's tendencies, only quietest breeze. Now sitting on deck for autumn feast, having appetized myself on locally grown trails, hugging coastline, my canine companion says, "Hey, you went this way." Accepting the docks and houses dotting the bay, one could so easily forget that there are other humans roaming this place. Tuck into another cove or nook an island's outline, trace the point's tip, taste salty sea's lips, like the freshest fucking oysters pulled from deep and silent nights, sleeping soundly, dream of drowning in pie and pudding and beautiful everything. I'm going to take that as good feedback from the baby.
She loved it.
Awesome. Yeah, good to hear. I figure if you're making noise, at least you're not asleep. Okay, I got a couple more for you. And these were both recently produced in Christopher Luna's writing workshop, which is called The Work. Happens now on the second Saturday and I believe the last Monday of every month. We're doing 2 editions. So if you want to come hang out at the very lovely niche wine bar when it's not open and write some poems with cool people, get some details about that. I think there are cards up front, or ask someone that looks like they know what they're talking about around here. Thieves. I didn't come here to see your pose. I was here already, I had already seen it. Your headshot, profile pic, legs spread, hands on the wall. The statement I'd respected, now explained as old habit. Probable cause in shades, suspicion under that skin. They still don't need a reason, and we still no excuse. So cancel your sports package, cover it up with other violence. Speak up and you'll never find work in this town again. Stay silent, you lose everything else. Self, integrity. Shadowy stormtroopers slide into Empire's orders while the masters hide. Thanks. Okay, just one more for you. This one's tentatively titled A Poem for Poets Affected by Seasonal Depression and Unseasonal Depression and all other kinds of depression that we may occasionally suffer from. I'm tired. Tired of letting myself ride this funk. Why would I want to write about cold rain clouds, perceived defects all around, when I could share a moment, rock to the beat a bit, join the rapturous movement? Funny how the little things, it just occurred to me I needed this new notebook. How can I forget again and again? This is my therapy, but I have to make it easy. Nourish the routine with paper. This thing could put out a fire or start one. Choose to live another day, to believe what I already know, to show myself it's true. The revelation. I know how it worked, or that it did. At least I didn't really need to understand why it occurs to me that turning troubles into poetry make them but symbolic plaything. You are small on the page, oh, my enemy within, see how I shape your weapons into mere thorns. They snag my skin, but with no anchors, and the flesh rejects your promise. So I see the silly bickering between disparate parts of me, and remember that I am one, with my own misunderstandings about the almighty everything. Why have I forsaken myself? Again and again, I might be learning how to envy, not what I'm not, but that I already am whoever I wanted to be more. Thanks.
Thank you, Scott. And I like to do this, so I'll just stand back. Okay, next up we have Mr. Jim Martin.
Yeah.
Woo! Jim, I lowered it, but
Okay.
I'm not responsible for anything after that. I'm not the sound person. It's perfect.
Can you hear? I just have one. I've been interested for a long time. I've been interested for a long time about where we came from, and what that has to do with who we are today and what we do today. And I started doing this when I was an undergrad, going back as far as I could, tracing, until I got way back to just little molecules that could either replicate themselves or maintain themselves for a long time. And then I came back up this way. And when I came back up this way, I finally got to our spinal cord, and then I got to the brain stem, and then I got to what's called the limbic system that does hate, love, that sort of thing. And it was interesting. Like, for instance, females, because they have more estrogen than testosterone, the side of the amygdala that in the limbic system that does fear grows larger. Males, because they have more testosterone than estrogen, the side of the amygdala that does rage and anger gets bigger. And so there are influences on us. And then we finally got the cortex, the part that engages in critical thinking, that can can be very rational, can write poetry, think more than simplistic thoughts. And I always think of the irony of why is it that our Congress always operates in the limbic where, but I mean, if you look at them, that's where they are. And so, pardon?
Lizard brain.
Yeah, lizards, yeah, lizard brain. And so my hope is that eventually I can write it enough, other people can write it enough, people at OHSU will finally say something so that we understand who we are and why we get in these stupid predicaments. So this poem doesn't have a title yet. I just started working on this stuff in August. Perched lizard shares my ancestry, and I his. Deep within my brain, coordinated pieces, gift of the percher's past, make simple emotional thoughts, lead some of us to hate. From the time of our shared ancestor to this day, much has changed within us. Brains no longer the same, cortex new, a tapestry of wondrous complexity within its folds, thinks beyond territory and hate, creates complex thoughts, hopeful thoughts, reflective thoughts, if we allow it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. And next up is Stephanie. Stephanie, is this your first time? Welcome.
Hi, I'm Steph. I'm visiting my mom. I'm from Canada, and I just walked into the bar, and I didn't know this was happening, but I always have my notebook, so here I am. So I'm going to read three poems, and they're all really different. The first one's called Honeymoon. Honey, is the moon the same shape for us tonight, or are our wants unmatched? I see it hanging ripe and full, but is my peach moon dry for you? We looking same, but what we take isn't always honey. Sticky, sure, sweet, a constant, not like the moon tonight. You don't see lunar succulence, and so my kisses won't be soft but rough. Your dry moon crumbles, and that's why you let me hold you, heavy. I whisper peach, and you say pit, and I know this honeymoon. Fat and full, one touch to break the skin so moon juice blooms like how wet our love was when we saw the same moon every night. Tides of earthly uncontrolled, just a natural cycling of movement. We feel sun, but we see moon. I feel you, dry and hard. Pit, I say, and you settle. Okay, this one's really different. It's called And We Exhaled for the Whole City. I'm a writer, I'm a fighter, I'm a do-good, do-writer, I'm a hands-on, hands-off lover, I'm a cookie jar with no lid. With just crumbs, they tell me I'm manic, they say, Steph, you're manic, Titanic snapping in half, you're manic, be afraid, rhythm, feel me sway. Mood goes up, it sparkles. Mom says, be careful, be wary if you get too glittery. I want to hum, I'm not scared, I'm not manic, I'm just hyper. I'm a viper, I'm a lipstick-tamed Tupperware. I drink out of bowls, let you brush my hair with your fingers, naughty, like my hair, it's so knotted. You're nodding, dum. There's a name for this, there's a book about this pattern, there's a doc for that, there's a pie chart, there's an index card, let me stamp you, boom, let me brand you, shtick. Let me hot cold bathe you with this fear of judgy, why not let go of the monkey bars, put your shoes on, let the words write themselves with your toes in the wood chips. Inky lips, you inscribe, hey, hi, hey, I'm here, hey, you're okay, shh, I'm not manic, I'm shh, I'm here, shh. And this is the last one, and it's called Millennial Falcon. Born of a time long past hello, where now a tip of the hat can be conveyed in a word, sup. Cold soup and ragged hair, smooth beards against bedded legs, he wonders what to ruin next. So wide a reach his wings, spread joy as far as there's a connection or free moment. He flies through bits of change, orders online, and is conscious of his privilege, rights, bowels. Sweet bird, sad heart, heavy-winged, weighted with the newest unlettered generation. Companion to all movements unless he has to get dressed. For no photo, the falcon takes off. In sun so bright, in air so crisp, so clean, falcon sees no screen or filter, so hits the window.
Thank you, Stephanie. So glad you decided to join us tonight. And next up, we have Jerry.
Oh, thank you. My gosh, going after those Canadian citizens. I actually have a daughter who lives in Truro, which is about 50 minutes north of Halifax, and I have a son that lives in Halifax, and he's also a really wonderful writer. They both are, and I wonder where they got their inspiration from. Anyway, good evening. I've got a couple of poems that I've written, and I'd like to share one from Billy Collins. Those of you who are familiar with him, he is the poet laureate for many years under the Clinton administration, and I heard him on NPR a number of years ago, and he read this one particular poem, and I just fell in love with his imagery, his simplicity, his eloquence, and his downright just American humor. So this is Billy Collins from 9 Horses. The country. I wondered about you when you told me never to leave a box of wooden strike anywhere matches lying around the house because the mice might get into them and start a fire. But your face was absolutely straight when you twisted the lid down on the round tin where the matches, you said, are always stowed. Who could sleep that night? Who could whisk away the thought of the one unlikely mouse padding along a cold water pipe behind the floral wallpaper, gripping a single wooden match between the needles of his teeth? Who could not see him rounding a corner, the blue tips scratching against a rough-hewn beam, the sudden flare, and the creature for one bright, shining moment suddenly thrust ahead of his time? Now a fire starter, now a torch-bearer in a forgotten ritual, little brown druid, illuminating some ancient night. Who could fail to notice, lit up the blue and blazing insulation, the tiny looks of wonderment on the faces of his fellow mice, one-time inhabitants of what once was your house in the country. I just love it. So here are my efforts of trying to describe a muse. I decided to call this You Are. I dreamed I asked you once, in a different life, in a different time, to be my muse, and wished the answer to be yes. Oh my, you said, how sweet, but do you even know who, what, why I am? Because this is now and that was then. So I set out to convince you I knew. I struggled like a salmon caught in the swift current of a schizophrenic river, searching for words to describe the desire that would touch your heart, realizing there are none. Because how can one express a vision only I can see? You are the light from the northern star that shines in the darkest of nights and guides to safety those ships caught in wild waves when all hope seems lost. You are the cool water of a sensuous stream that nourishes the frantic vines and roots of plants that cling helplessly to the banks, seeking to satisfy their thirst when the rains no longer fall. You are the fragrance of the first flower of spring, celebrating the beginning of another season, the sacred welcome of new life. You are the summer song offered by birds at rest, heard throughout the forest without interruption, attracting even those who seldom take time to listen. You are the subtle shadow hiding from the sun in summer, dancing and dreaming through time and space, playfully oblivious to those who want to follow. And sometimes, I imagine, you are the snowflake drifting, wandering through a late winter storm, nature's napkin, delicate and soft to the touch. You are the grateful tear that gently rolls down the cheek of the child who's finally found her favorite furry friend. And most of all, I imagine you are the first light wandering across the sky at dawn, caressed by the sun, a private, passionate poem seen only by me. That, I say, is who, what, and why you are. So, my wish remains the same. Is the answer yes? So I've been on this little phase of romanticism and decided to bring out the romantic part of my life, and I think they call them hopeless romantics. I haven't gone down that path a whole lot, but decided I'd give it a whirl. Sun's fire in her smile. Last night while you slept, I walked through a colorless sky, in the shadow of a silver wolf, its neck adorned with polished pearls, a gift from a woman with the sun's fire in her smile, leading me to a place of solitude on a languid lake where secret wishes blend into the sacred night and journey as cosmic candles to light the midnight stars. Last night, when the moon hid the man inside, I ran through sand made soft by the prints of a dancing wolf, its neck adorned with polished pearls, a gift from the woman with a thunderbird smile, and searched for the place where southern winds sing to the soul, knowing you were there too. Last night, when the stars shared a silent serenade to the invisible moon, the spirit wolf called, its shadow mesmerized by the light, a silhouette against a darkened sky, its neck adorned with polished pearls, seeking a place of solitude where secret wishes become wisdom's promises while southern winds sing to the soul. And just before the sky embraced the morning sun, I saw that wolf wander through my window with soundless grace, eyes of yellow silk, intent on a path through the morning mist, following the southern winds, leaving a precious gift blessed by the wind, a solitary polished pearl kissed by the woman with the sun's fire in her smile to sing to my soul. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. A couple announcements. Like Scott had mentioned, Christopher does the workshops on Saturday, and then he has one on the last Monday. So the next one is going to be January 13th from 11:30 to 2:30 next door. And then Monday, January 29th from 6 to 8:30 at night. So it's a suggested $20 donation, but he doesn't turn anybody away. It's a great way to get new pieces started and just be able to share that with other people. So next up we have James.
Yeah.
Welcome, James.
Good evening. I'm James Henry. I haven't done very much in the way of poetry, but I have been working very hard on creating a big epic novel that I've titled Ineffable UI, and the reason for that, if I look up the dictionary definition of ineffable, is too great or extreme to be expressed or described in words. The ineffable natural beauty of the Everglades. Synonyms include indescribable, inexpressible, beyond words, beyond description, begging description, not to be uttered. I have a number of unfinished poems and bits of songs I have written for use in my novel, but the only one I've completed so far is The Soft Egg. It is like the wind in the trees, the swaying of the dance. I see the light of your smile, the sparkling jewel of the dewdrop, the mystery of the red flower, such beauty shining in its moment. Your laughter is like the crystal reflections in the glittering diamonds of the sea. In the chorus, oh, for the sighing of your love, I am never complete without. I found a happiness that none can ever compare. But when I hear the doubt, all I can ever feel is the cold gray of fear. The fire, it burns on, and all I want is to be within, to be without. I ask, are you ready? Do you dare? Do you dare? Verse 2. I used to know a lady, a woman that defined me as a man. She was the height of womanhood, but did she realize how I saw her? The loveliness was not fated to me, but all I could do was love, never to be rewarded, never to be bounded, never to be blended. Verse 3. Ours was a golden bond, the pull of our hearts beyond the gloom. My hair of fire, hers of the blackest wave, but such passion. I will be with you, if you will be with me, and we will be stronger yonder. I remember what I felt, a treasure no blade or beast, thief or storm could steal. Verse 4. Do you remember a strength of faith beyond all reason? Did you know we knew our feelings, but not ourselves? Could you see the time we were about to pledge our lives? Could you hear? I told you not to be afraid, and still I shed my tear. I'm going to try to read a short excerpt from my novel, one that I was thinking about as I should have had this all in one spot. Yes, I called out in the strange void. What's going on? Although we're not going to put you in danger by using this method to explore the drifting bounds. That plane is a realm, literally made of distraction and hidden double meanings that are used to ensnare mortals in contracts or dangerous oaths. No direct danger for you because of using our tunneling procedure, but it will be easy for you to waste time, of which you will have a limited amount. You must look for mortals who have been trapped there, and we will know by their essences if it is the correct plane. Who or what are you looking for? I was flabbergasted. You had me get into this crazy chair thing, and you didn't know? How could you not know who it is? Because I need to not know, at least before we get started. Anyway, please answer my question. I focused my memory again. The nightmare was still terribly vivid. Michelle, the woman I tried dating, I dreamt I saw her in one of those interdimensional portals you people call apertures. I say her name again. Michelle. Yes, that's right. There, you have a strong signal of her. We're ready to send you. There will be many strange sights in the drifting bounds, reflective of how Kohalol tries to ensnare hapless mortals. As I said, seas or clouds of alcohol, land made of contracts, legal documents, ledgers, plants of dangerous substances affecting the body and mind. Do not let yourself go wandering afar unless it is to find a group of ensnared mortals. If you see one of Kohalol's minions, do not approach it. None can see or hear you if you do not try to communicate. But they will if you do try. Now we will ease your signal in as the numbers count down. 10, 9, 8. They were about 5 seconds apart. Already I could see an extremely faint lightening of the void. 7, 6, lighter. 5, 4, stone gray. 3, lighter. 2, almost white. 1, a solid white light, and fading to a most surreal landscape. So I do have more in the unfinished poems if you would want to hear it, but I also don't want to take everybody's time up, so I'll be happy to have read what I did. So thank you.
guys finish them and bring them next month.
Yeah. Thank you, James. Was this your first time here?
There was one earlier time, but it was a much smaller group.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Well, thank you for coming back. So, let's see. The other thing, as far as announcement, Poetry Move Season 5 launch will be Sunday, January 14th from 12:30 to 2:30 at the Vancouver Library. So that's always exciting to see the new poetry that'll be up in the buses. I happen to ride the buses, so it's kind of fun for me to get to see all the poems as I'm riding to work at 5:30 in the morning. And then the next Ghost Town will be Thursday, January 11th. Featuring Neil Aitken. So I think he's been here before, so great poet. So next up we have Dane, and then we'll have 2 more before our feature. So welcome, Dane.
Yeah.
Hi. Hi, I'm Dane. New to the area 2 years ago. I have to selflessly promote. My friend, when we were in Seattle at Hempfest, we went into a bar and the girl was like, "Oh, you have any copies of anything that you sold? You have any swag?" And my friend said, "Oh, you don't know? He's the king of swag." So I have swag. In the form of books. This is the new edition, which Scott alluded to, The Thieves. He has on the green version, so we have different versions available. And of course, music. So I'm gonna do 3 pieces. The first piece is called Floodgate, and it's in the book. So. From the floodgate, Watergate, hater pools, Kool-Aid, flavorfuls, Hoover Dam in my underoos. How deep it is for water to deliver bodies to the dry land from the LA River. I come quick as sand sinking, nasty lyrical stinking, incorporated inking had an inkling. Disdain grew and was in plain view. The masses was drained and killed by the few fluid. Media blew it all up in your face to it. Looked like your concept was incongruent, stuck on stupid and unclear. Behind the words on the tongue, I sense fear. With no time to follow, in a sleepy hollow, dwarfs pumping Snow White, say she's so right. Let them blow right past them on the last wind. Leave them lost in the breeze. No need to ask them about the rats racing who stay about face for cheese. Cutting portions, asking more please and macaroni. First you was lonely, now you hack your homie in the back stabbing to attract the last dragon kissed. The abyss, no wish for Aladdin the third, only the word habit, I gots to have it. from the floodgate, Watergate, hater pools, Kool-Aid flavor fools, Hoover Dam in my underoos. How deep it is for water to deliver bodies to the dry land from the LA River. I seen horizon without skyline. Petty criminals be paid for high crime. Laying on my psyche, playing in my head nightly. Don't make me write some that's unsightly. Vitro infertilization tube. Flew back into more deja vu. Clouds split, forest fell, wind blew, mandingo lingo, complex into simple and plain. Desert eagle, desert storm, mountain range, dirty water rain. Loves when the flash flood came through town and drowned Citizen Kane. Limbs and ligaments then filled the drain. Those at low ground did them the same. How dandy it loomed. Hurricane soon became tsunami. Back smacked your mammy. Ponds from little puddles, swamps from the gutters. Bastardized fathers, illegitimate mothers. Huddle around lost maths, who lost math. Misdirection befell the whole section, and who would lead in these times of need? Those who spoke words and followed the deeds, and found north with moss of all sorts. Zero compadres and no cohorts. May God bless all the breath in my chest and cast out those demons that they said had left. To myself and lied and said that I'd coveted that spirit of pride till I died at the floodgate. This next piece have music for it, but it's more recent. It's called Metadata Bones. Bones in the closet, bulges in the veins. Detectives search for skeletal remains. Hung like a coon, lived like a goon, emaciated and based on nothing but fumes. Oxygen, nitrogen, nothing to exhume. The walking dead living life in a tomb. Playing Tomb Raider, soon to be a new hater. I'm the acne asteroid, I'm the acne asteroid. I cause craters and also cause vapors. Inspired loyalty to inspire the traitors. To jump off of buildings and not use elevators. And gravity brings gravity to us all. Tragedy, perched up so high, you can fall down later and fall we all do. Down flat-faced it. I'm the dude who fell flat and then laced it. My confidence is never complacent. I gotta eat the whole cake even though I can't taste it. Phantom-itis caused me to lay back farther, arthritis. Now you see the darkest is really the lightest. The unbearable parable, overly excited, 'cause full bellies don't riot. Full bellies don't riot. Decadent decathlon. Lost the line the math was on. Now I'm lifting weight like a mastodon. Beast in another time. Ice age winter rhyme. Made the summer wet and brought snow in the winter time. Granted, I'm like plantains and bananas frying. Middle finger body language, so no need for pantomiming. Tides and waves through the years and the days. Shipwreck yachts through the ocean's maze. The stars align, the mist, the brine, the corridor into the corroded mine. See, the moon has rhythm. It doesn't just give off gloss. It nudges the weather and straightens up the clocks and gives necessity of man in the cloth to charge and occupy the ark that nobody gets off. Don't open the closet, there's too many bones, but what do you want me to do with the bodies of these clones? This last piece is inspired by local new events, namely